What should be the relationship between Puerto Rico and the United States? This question has been asked multiple times with varied results depending greatly on the specific wording of the question.
It's not a statehood, what we have now.
La que tenemos, quizás mejor. Me gustaría estado, pero si estamos así, estamos muy bien.
Puerto Rico's better off just independent. Whatever relationship we have with the United States just kind of goes from there.
Puerto Ricans should aspire to be independent, regardless if we're a state or independent nation. You know, I'm trying to be objective here as an empire, right? And it's gonna do what it wants in this hemisphere, and we should be conscious of that as Puerto Ricans. Our relationship right now is a colonial status relationship, and that's toxic, I think, for the psyche of young people growing up in a colony. We are not ready to be independent right now. If I had the power in my hands to decide tomorrow, I would lean more towards statehood, but I would try and really center quality of life for people, what would result in a better quality of life. It's the biggest economy in the world, right? That's gonna ultimately result in our people having more opportunity.
Puerto Rico is not ready for independence. I do want independence for Puerto Rico though. Y sí, hay que admitir que ser un estado libre asociado, ser lamentablemente una colonia de los Estados Unidos nos ha dado ciertas ventajas. Nos hemos vuelto dependientes de los Estados Unidos a un nivel donde ya aquí mismo en Puerto Rico la gente no siembra, no cosecha sus propias cosas, que era algo que me acuerdo, mi familia, especialmente mi familia paterna, hacía durante años y generaciones. Like, we're proud. We should be proud of our culture and strive to make it better. Crear una cultura que sea autosustentable.
Equal, respeto.
Puerto Rico debe ser independiente primero y luego puede hacer negocios con otros países, puede hacer negocios con Estados Unidos, con República Dominicana, con España, con todos los países del mundo.
Una relación de igual entre naciones, que se respete la soberanía de Puerto Rico, que se respete los derechos de las personas que viven aquí y los deseos de superarse y que podamos tener una voz en lo que va a ser nuestro proyecto a futuro.
That's a difficult one because I'm a gringo Rican. I think what we have is kind of okay-ish. Puerto Rico is part of the United States, like American citizens. They have used them for war. They wouldn't have won the wars without the Puerto Rican warriors. You don't go to war eating hamburgers. It's Puerto Ricans that have, you know, like, wow, let's go to war. Puerto Rico should be like Monte Carlo, only for expensive tourists that are able to maintain whatever they have to do in Puerto Rico without any help from Puerto Ricans, not bring the trash from United States and drop it in Puerto Rico. Take some videos of fellow Americans sitting down in the streets, begging for money and actually doing crimes.
Para mí, yo no entiendo mucho de eso, pero para mí, Puerto Rico es parte de los Estados Unidos. Para mí, no sé.
Unidos, no sé.
So I moved here about 8 years ago, and I was actually quite independentista when I moved here. When I was living in the United States, I was very much about Ohio, Texas secessionist movements. California, I think it was a 5 or 6 state solution when I was living out there. I'm a big fan of localism. I am actually quite comfortable with where it is politically. It's like a protectorate colony. I have problems both with independence due to Puerto Rico is simply not sustainable as an independent country. The average age of Puerto Rico is higher than the entire United States, right? The average citizen here is 50 years old or something. Like that's the median. And it really relies heavily on these federal funds coming in. The welfare rate here is extremely high. Disability rate, it makes it impractical to ever have it as an independent country. As a state, politically it would be interesting. I'm very libertarian. Puerto Ricans are very big government, kind of communists, at the low end at least. The older people are more conservative. I'm not a big fan of adding a welfare state to the voter rolls at a federal level, because once the takers outnumber the makers, I think things get really problematic.
Una relación armoniosa donde ambos se sientan cómodos, que se respeten sus culturas y sus identidades.
The definition of the Commonwealth should be that they work in equal proportion to each other so that our local government can be autonomous internationally. But the fact is that we're not.
Puerto Rico should go independent. You can see they have their own culture.
Ya es parte de, nosotros somos parte ya de Estados Unidos en cierta manera.
It is strong. It should be a little bit more treated like a state. Now, we don't want to become a state, but we should be like more care.
I would prefer for it to be statehood. I think there should be a smaller gap actually in between the two. Puerto Ricans keeping their own culture, but at the same time receiving help economically.
I'm impressed by this. I wished that we could be more like this in where we are. The hospitality, the heart I see every day. I think that Puerto Rico could help the United States.
Without knowing much of the history, Puerto Rico should be a state in the United States.